Hello, Missouri. I'm so happy to be joining y'all today remotely all the way from Texas via this amazing thing we call technology. I'm sorry I can't be there with y'all today. I'm actually hosting a Live Your Passion rally here in Texas, so I apologize I couldn't make it, but just big Texas-sized hugs to you guys. Thank you so much, Jordan, for inviting me to be a part of Diamond Bound event. It is such a pleasure to serve and empower all of Team Young Living today through this video. My name is April Pointer, and today I'd like to share with y'all my story from the beginning to Royal Crown Diamond in under an hour. So that's going to be tough, but I want to start by saying that essential oils fit such a niche in my life because I love the chemistry behind the oils, and that's what first drew me in. And part of my love for science and really just a healthy lifestyle is that I actually grew up in the hospital having multiple surgeries. From birth up until last December, I guess, was actually my last one. I was born with a birth defect called spina bifida. And this occurs when there's incomplete closing of the backbone and the membranes around the spinal cord. And either the vertebrae are either missing or they're just not fully connected on some people, like they're not totally closed. But anyway, my repair was at the L2 vertebrae. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. I was never supposed to walk. Doctors always told my parents I'd be paralyzed in a wheelchair my whole life. But long story short, as a baby, God healed me of paralysis. The doctors never could find an explanation. I did start walking at a young age, and they were very confused because my scans would say, she's supposed to be, it would show paralysis. And let me move that. It would show paralysis on the scans, and there was no other explanation but God. Then they thought, oh, well, she'll definitely use the forearm crutches. And again, that never happened. So God just showed up. He healed my body. I never needed a shunt, which is actually unheard of at that level. Anyway, God healed me in many ways as an infant. Really, I think just to show himself as sovereign and for his glory, really. As I grew up, there were still some things that I did need, and that was multiple surgeries. So spinal cord, brain, foot, leg surgeries, just to deal with the neurological defect. And it's funny because even today, my neurosurgeon looks at my MRIs and he says, I don't know why you're walking. Like, the two don't go together. So he's part of the whole thing. He knows, like, God healed me. So it's a cool story. But I'm telling you all of that basically to say that I just grew up with almost 4 dozen surgeries directly related to my spina bifida. And being constantly surrounded by Western medicine, it had a huge impact on my life. In that time, I probably had 3 to 5 just phenomenal, amazing doctors that I loved. I respected them. They had great bedside manner. They treated me like a family member. Just doctors I was really inspired by, and in turn it actually made me want to be a doctor when I grew up. My sister went through the same thing. She watched me in this position my whole life, and it made her want to grow up to be a doctor to help people. So it was interesting, but anyway, we thought we both wanted to be doctors. And back to my story though, at the core of it, that's what I thought. But at the core, what I was really after was just to be able to be someone to help others be well and to be healthy and just to live their life to their fullest potential physically. And I felt like I just wanted to fix, save, and rescue the world. So at 18, that was my dream. And off to college I went. I had decided on actually going to veterinary school. My passion had turned towards animals, but still, nonetheless, a field of medicine of some kind. And in the fall of 1995, I was in my final semester of prereqs for vet school. It was my 3rd year of college. And I was accepted and scheduled to start at Texas A&M for their veterinary college just 3 months later. But something happened to me that fall at the college that I was attending here in Texas. I was part of this pre-med college club, and we were invited to attend and observe 4 open heart surgeries at a very renowned heart hospital. And they were all going to be performed by one of the most famous and distinguished heart surgeons at that time. This is like mid-90s. And it was an honor. It was an amazing opportunity of a lifetime to get to go and observe these. But I had no idea what I was walking into that day. I had no idea that the biggest aha moment of my life that would forever change my course in my life and take me where I am today was about to happen. So I walk into this big, esteemed heart hospital, and the first thing I laid eyes on inside the building was a McDonald's. You guys, a McDonald's. Like the very foods that cause cardiovascular disease. You guys, this is like the place I threaten to take my kids when they're naughty, when they disobey. I'm like, you're going to McDonald's, and then they cry, and I never take them, but I've driven up to the drive-thru before just to make a point. Anyway, point being, like, they cry at that because even kids know they don't even serve real food there. Like, it's called Big Mac Heart Attack for a reason. And yet this place is like this McDonald's, and this heart hospital is swarming with people. You guys, this like completely messed me up that day. And I went into those heart surgeries, as an observer, I could not stop thinking about it. Like it was this light bulb went off. Like, wow, they are not on our side. It's like job security at the very least. So anyway, I left there just completely messed up in my head. I'd never seen anything like it up into that point of my life with my experience with allopathic medicine, I guess. So that was going on in my head. And then just weeks later, I had another major life change, and that was actually that I gave my heart to Christ. And I knew he'd healed me as a baby, but I didn't know him. I didn't have a relationship with him, and I most definitely was not living for him. So I had these two major life events that God allowed that completely changed my entire plan for vet school and medicine and everything. And, in a matter of weeks, my life was completely like flipped inside out. So now I look back and I think, and I really believe when you overcome something, you carry authority to bless others with it. So can I get an amen on a Saturday on that? Thank you. So God clearly spoke and told me no to that path that I had paved for myself for vet school just 3 months later, that it was not his perfect plan. I was devastated. I had spent, this was my junior year of college at that point, and all I had done was everything for vet school and tried to get in. It's so hard to get in. And I was devastated, but I knew and I trusted the Lord. And so I stayed at the college I was at, and I knew that's where I was supposed to stay. And lo and behold, I met my husband there. And I ended up getting my degree in nutrition and biology with a minor in business, oddly enough. So I'm probably one of the only few people on the planet outside of like medical professions that are still using their degree. We all know it's definitely not a requirement to hit any rank in Young Living, but I do still love science, and I'm fascinated with the human body. And I'm very grateful for my education. I don't regret 1 minute of it. It was some of the best years of my life, and it all worked out the way God had destined for it to. So today, I'm just a regular homeschool mom, passionate about health and science. I'm committed to using the knowledge and the talents and the skills God's given me to the fullest of my ability. And, that heart hospital experience in the fall of 1995, that was the start, it was really like the spark of what's now this blazing fire that is my life. And it's been a very long, a very slow baby step journey into the natural health world the last 21 years. And I started out all about nutrition. I seemed to get more and more natural and crunchier as the years passed on. And as I became more interested in things, I started using more things like herbs and homeopathy, and I would use them regularly. And then Young Living came along for me in 2009, and come to find out, I'd been using adulterated tea tree oil for way too many years. Had no idea. So I had a handful of others I'd been buying and wondered why they didn't work or why they left me with the skin irritation. So at the beginning of 2009, our family was in dire need of some immune supporting products. And my dear friend Mary Moore loaned me a Young Living diffuser for a few days, and she sold me a bottle of Thieves. And at that time, Thieves was about $30. And I thought that was crazy. Like, really? $30 for half an ounce of oil? But we had this amazing life-changing experience with that diffuser and one bottle of Thieves. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was only $30. So it quickly changed my viewpoint very fast. But it was that one bottle of Thieves that really convinced us that Young Living had the best products that support the immune system. And we fell in love immediately. And over time, we just fell in love with several other products. We've got like a million of them, you know. I ended up going to a class that my sponsor had held or was holding. And shortly thereafter, I enrolled. And I just wanted the wholesale discount. You know, I didn't even know there was a business side. And during those first couple of years of being a product user, I would naturally talk about it here and there, you know, the same way you talk about anything you were having a great experience with, like going to a movies, or great, these pairs of jeans, or these shoes are really good quality. Like, you just talk about that, you know? And in that time, I just casually enrolled 4 to 5 friends in those first 2 years of not actively building. And at that time, we had recently started homeschooling, and we were a one-income family, and we were living very much paycheck to paycheck. We were pretty wise with our money. We got out of debt, except for our mortgage at the time. And because our church was amazing, they taught us the basic principles, the biblical principles of getting out and staying out of debt. So thankful for that. Then in August of 2010, I casually enrolled my friend Michelle Skochek, and she wanted to explore the business side, and she had asked me for help, and I said no. Many, many times. I was so hesitant. I was so skeptical. I wanted nothing to do with the business. I just wanted to be a product user, wanted to stay and homeschool my kids. I just wanted to be involved in my community and just stay really involved in my church. And like, I just want to be a product user. Like, no business building. So she stayed on me for, at least 3 to 4 months, maybe longer, to teach a class for her. And I kept saying no. And in that time, she was placing these really big orders, and she was on Fast Start at the time. So I was getting like 25% of all these big orders. And then these other 4 people that I had casually enrolled over those 2 years were ordering. And occasionally, like, I would have neighbors that would want to order through me. So I would do that. Like, I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that. I didn't know to say, no, just get your own account. I would just let them so I could get the promo, which, you know. Anyway, again, not building a business. But back then, on the old comp plan, you actually made 5% back on your own order. So I was making checks around $180, $190, sometimes $200. I had no idea why, or how, or what. But hey, you know, I'll take it. Like, that's some free money, right? So eventually I said yes to teaching a class for Michelle. I mean, I was like making all this money off of her, you know. It was the least I could do. But the thought of teaching a class, it actually really, really terrified me. And I didn't want to talk in front of people. I was terrified. So in December of 2010, I just had to let my passion take over for what Young Living had done for our family and just put fear on the back burner and teach my first class. And I say that, and it makes me actually think about John Maxwell and how he says how we have uphill dreams but downhill habits. Basically, that nothing great or amazing in life comes out of being in a comfort zone and sitting complacent and having these habits of just constantly going downhill. So I just sucked it up, and I did it. And I just did it scared. I mean, I didn't wait till I was well rehearsed and knew it all or had overcome this fear of speaking in front of people. I just did it scared. And I didn't know what to say. So I took an essential oil book with me, and I shared testimonials of my own that night. And y'all, 8 of the 10 people enrolled that month. And so then we decided to team up and host more essential oil classes together. Which, P.S., I highly recommend teaming up with someone in your organization or a cross-line friend and do it together, because 2 is always better than 1. This whole co-teaching thing, for me, I felt like there was power in numbers, especially in teachers. So I started out really scared to talk to people. I'm so introverted and just don't people very well, the peopling thing. And teaching with someone else was a very good starter step for me. And it was also really fun. It helped me come out of my shell in a lot of steps. Again, I'm super introverted, not shy, just really introverted. And the whole people thing, lots of people, all these questions and all that, I just didn't want to do. So one thing I learned over time is that really just 20 seconds of insane courage can change your life, and it can change someone else's. And that's what it took for me that time. And I didn't actually realize it until I started doing it. And I really woke up to the fact that I had nothing to lose. I had so much to gain. These people had something to gain. So if I could just take the chance and muster up 20 seconds of courage and, speak to the waitress or the hostess at a restaurant, maybe she works 3 jobs and has 3 kids to feed because she's a single mom. Like, again, I have nothing to lose. And that situation changed that girl's life forever, So what if you found 20 seconds of courage and talked to someone you wouldn't normally? You really, guys, we have the power to change people's lives. So I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, out of it, and into your courage zone. You have an amazing gift. And if you want to increase your paycheck, it's simple math, right? We just get out there and talk to more people. Lots of them are going to say no. Gosh, I got so many no's, but every no was just building my skills and getting me one step closer to the next yes. So, you don't have to knock it out of the park. Just go do it. You'll get better with time. So a few months into the classes that Michelle and I would host, I hit executive. And I want to say that I tapped into my family first. So is that who you guys tap into first? Because is that who you ask to support you first? Because I feel like that's a really good place to start, your friends and family. And ask them to actually support your business. A lot of people think, oh, that's just another network marketing thing. Oh, those oils are crazy. Oh, she's just doing her next big whatever that she's into this year. But when you word it to your friends and family, hey, will you help support my business? When I figured this out along the way, more family came around, and then they saw I wasn't crazy. So just ask if they'll do you a favor and support you for 2 to 4 months on ER. If they don't like it after 4 months or so, then cancel it. No harm, no foul. But surely there's something they could buy. Young Living has a bazillion products, right? I think we have over 500 now. I'm sure there's something they could find. They all use soap. They all use toothpaste and deodorant and, oils, hopefully. So I think over time they just might stay and get value from what you have, from the products, from being on ER, I think that if everybody on the team did this, you guys, it could explode because so many people would find out that the products actually end up solving a need in their home. So I asked my sister, y'all. I asked her, Jen Jordan. She told me no. I can't even count how many times she told me no. Nope, no way. Pretty sure there was a lot of eye rolling involved for years. And she wouldn't use the products. She wouldn't order them, no matter what. Remember, we grew up super allopathic, and anything natural was no, But she and I, again, like I said earlier, we both have always had a passion for health, and she trusted over time that I knew what I was doing to my family's bodies, and I was educated, I was experienced. I wasn't just going to go throw stuff at my family. So eventually she became more open-minded and would, on occasion, use it as a last resort. Then one day she realized it was actually solving a need in their home. She enrolled. Over time, she started to build a business, and today she's a Royal Crown Diamond as well, which is crazy. So lots of follow-up with my own sister, my own family. So let that be a lesson to never quit following up. The average no's people get before someone says yes is 8. 8 no's, yet we give up after 1 or 2 times, even 4 times, and we think, okay, they're definitely a no. They said no 4 times. You guys, you're only halfway there. You're only halfway to 8 at 4. So keep going. Of course, be respectful. Be friendly. Never pushy. but just keep going. So back to my story. I bought a diffuser right off the bat to loan out to try. This is the very first thing I did because I was just duplicating what my sponsor had done for me. And back then, we didn't even have premium starter kits, okay? This is 2009. No, 2010, at the end of 2010. So you got 2 oils with your membership and a $40 coupon you had to physically mail into corporate on a handwritten envelope with a stamp, and you had to handwrite your check just to buy a discounted diffuser. And there was no diffuser in the kit. It came with 2 oils, and that was it. It was lavender and peppermint, the 2 most versatile oils. I can't even tell you guys how easy Young Living has made it for us these days. So easy. Now I just use an entire PSK to loan out for 48 hours along with a book on essential oils. It is an easy in. People love the diffuser. I did a 1-minute video on YouTube showing them how to use it, how to turn it on, how to do the lights off and on, how to do the 30-second off and on, and that was it. And I send the same link to each person who borrows a kit and just drop it off. And I let them borrow it for 48 hours, tell them some different ideas I have on what they have going on, and they love it. And when I get it back, they're like, I love that diffuser. I want one of those. And then I reply that the best way to get one is to join Young Living as a wholesale member, because a diffuser comes in your kit. It's that alone is worth $100, and the kit is $160 plus 11 oils on top of that, so it's like a killer deal. So I still do this all the time. I just did it last weekend with our handyman. It works really well for me. I love it. So teaching as an executive, I was teaching about 2 to 4 classes per month, sometimes more if the demand was there. Sometimes I would teach 8 classes a month, and that was if I had the time and the demand was there. I wasn't just, throwing it all out there trying to do 8 classes a month. I very much had my family's support. Okay, so lots of times we would have no-shows, and lots of times we would have big turnouts. The number of no-shows that's happened to me, I can't even count how many times that's happened. A lot. And sometimes just 1 or 2 people would come, and it turned into a one-on-one. Or sometimes everybody would cancel except for 1 person. And it was discouraging. It was very discouraging for me when nobody would show up. But the no-shows, they were never enough to make me quit. Never. I'd still go over the class with the hostess or present it to 1 to 2 people if that's all that showed. Like I said, if everyone canceled except 1, I still went and I presented it, because if you do something enough times, you eventually get really good at presenting it. So that in itself really builds your confidence, and the more classes you host, the more confidence gets built, right? You just feel better about it. You kind of get to where you can do it with your eyes closed. So as I grew, I focused on my own growth, but I mainly focused on the people I had personally enrolled and duplicating myself in those people I personally enrolled. I really wanted to see them succeed. And Zig Ziglar says, when you help people get what they want, then you will in turn get what you want. And this is really paramount in network marketing. So my team started gaining momentum and growing outside of my city and state. I decided to start teaching classes via Skype. And this is a tool I use to teach classes for when people were too far from me to travel to them, or I just really needed to protect my family time that week, something like that. And basically the hostess would just gather friends in her home, serve some lemon water, peppermint water, set up a laptop or plug a computer into a TV, and I'd teach a 45 or 50-minute class. I'd ask the host to put a diffuser somewhere close to where the screen would be, and she would just pass her oils around as we talked about them. And no matter where the class is, live or online, I purposely always put a diffuser next to me so the guests would see it going the whole time. I think visuals are super important. And having a diffuser going in the same view as a teacher means people's eyes would be on both things. And then they would start to imagine the places in their home that they could put a diffuser. So if I was teaching a Skype class to you today, I'd be sitting at a table and I'd have a diffuser going right here so that your eyes are here, and they're also being diverted a little bit here. And you're like, that's a really cool thing. I think I should get one of those. So visuals are big. They're very important. Eventually, my paycheck started paying off. It started paying for my oily habit every month. It paid for my ER orders, and it was a good thing because I really wanted every oil. And my orders seemed to get bigger and bigger, but really we couldn't afford to do that. I had to be very selective. But as I started replacement buying, they would get bigger. So toothpaste this month, and then I would add a shampoo, and then I would add the floss and things like that. It was very slow into replacement buying. Again, we were a one-income family, so I just had to be selective. So 8 months after hitting executive, I ended up hitting silver. Silver and 6 did not exist back then. If it had, under the old comp plan, I would not have hit it. Not even close. The check continued to grow, but I stayed at silver for about 13 months on that comp plan. And during that time at silver, we used my whole paycheck to put towards our Young Living purchases and our debt, which was a new car that I had bought for myself. And that was the only debt we had. I talked about that earlier. We just had the car and the house. We were strict about a budget and paying off debt. So this horrible, fateful day came in June of 2013 that my husband was laid off from a job he absolutely loved. And we were devastated. I was a gold at the time, and this was a job that Jay loved, like had every intention to retire from, pension plan, like the whole shebang. And he was so crushed because he loved this job and this organization that he worked for. Lo and behold, this was the same exact month that we had paid off my last car payment. We paid it off in just over a year with our extra income from Young Living, which is amazing because I had gotten the car I'd always wanted and paid it off in a year. So we were really happy about that, but we were really sad that he had lost his job. Anyway, the whole department was wiped out in a matter of hours within 6 weeks severance. You know, he was very high in the organization of the company, and again, just 6 weeks severance. So it just proved to us that, you know, corporate America isn't 100% secure and stable, and that could happen to anybody. People are scared to get into network marketing, thinking, oh, that's not stable and secure. Well, nothing is, you know. So I remember he had called to tell me about the layoff, and I was so upset for him because I knew he loved his job. I didn't freak out, though, because I was making a pretty good check with Young Living at the time. I was a gold. It was enough for our family to live on. And so I just went ahead and I kicked things into high gear, and that month I hit platinum shortly thereafter, and Jay was still looking for a job. I kept saying, just stay home with me, and he was like, why would I do that? So he kept looking for a job, and in August, we went to Silver Retreat as platinums. I had actually deferred it the year before because I was terrified of flying. I use the word terrified a lot in this talk, apparently. I was scared to teach a class. I was scared to fly. But again, I just faced the fear and went. I really wanted to go to the St. Mary's farm. That's where Silver Retreat was back then. I just did it scared, you know. We were really privileged to stay at the farm in St. Mary's for Silver Retreat. We stayed on that farm for, I guess it was about 6 days with maybe 15 to 20 other people. Everybody else was in Coeur d'Alene at where the whole retreat was being held. So there were, I think they drew names, and about 20 people were selected to stay at the farm, which was an amazing experience. Oh my word, if you've never been to a farm, especially that one, oh wow, you really need to do everything you can to hit goal to go to that farm. It's phenomenal, amazing experience. So Mary and Gary have a home there, and they were there all week with us, and so we had a lot of time getting to know their mission, getting to know their passion. I had never met them before, and it was there that Gary planted the seed to consider joining me at home full-time with Young Living to my husband. And he had told Jay to, you know, just figure out how you can do it together, because he said it always works the best when couples do it together. So he went on one job interview after that, and he knew immediately that he didn't want to go back to corporate America. So God totally took care of us. He said yes to staying home. That was 3 years ago. So he's been home with me since, and we just share in everything pretty much. So we kept hustling. We kept setting goals. You know, it's going to be different for every family on the goal setting thing, to analyze everything you want to do with your life with that. We like to do it every 6 months or so. with both a short-term why and a long-term why, to revisit that long-term why and analyze it, because we want to make sure we're setting the right goals, because it's easy to set the wrong goals. And I think having goals is so important in this business, whether you're doing it part-time or full-time. It really doesn't matter. Setting goals is really half the battle, because one goal, just one goal properly set, like it's already half achieved, just properly setting it. And we just have to be intentional and make the efforts that put us closer to that goal. Plus, it's better to intentionally build it now instead of spending a lot of time fixing, redoing, starting things over later. So I kept working towards Diamond and ended up hitting it that next winter. And I always believed I would hit Diamond from the get-go. I always believed I would. Like, I knew it in my heart. I could see it. But it wasn't till probably gold or platinum that I could see myself as a Royal Crown Diamond. There is so much mindset in this thing that either keeps us from prevailing or pushes us towards it or holds us back. And those two goals of Diamond and Royal Crown Diamond, they became a part of me. I was literally emotionally connected to them. I was emotionally connected to those things in the future. And I think that if you aren't emotionally connected to something in the future, it's really hard to get something done for it today. So I would imagine myself as that, and I would feel it, and I'd close my eyes and let myself feel it. And I would think about what we would do with those paychecks. Where were we going to hang the photos of the completed water wells we wanted to build in other countries? That's something near and dear to our heart. And I'd even think about what was I going to wear? What am I going to wear to walk the stage as a diamond? How would I do my hair? I'd even browse Amazon at earrings and stuff like that would go with a formal. And I would just get in the moment like this. I'm going to visualize myself as a diamond here. And that really spurred me on because I would connect emotionally to it. And then when you're connected emotionally to something, I would find that my desire would turn into discipline because I had felt the future, And the more you can identify with what that feels like in your heart and you in that position, the stronger the likelihood is that you're going to achieve that. So maybe you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to hit Diamond. I want to hit Diamond. But you don't actually see yourself as a diamond. This is a mindset thing, and it's actually really dangerous because I've seen people do this and then they unknowingly self-sabotage themselves into ever hitting it because it never lined up with what they believed in their heart. And there's a lot of personal development that happens from silver to diamond, and it is 100% mindset at that point. Because it's silver, you clearly know what it takes to build this. You've got a few of your legs going already. You know what it took to hit silver. It's the same thing to hit royal. You just do it again and again and again, right? You just got to connect your end game emotionally and work on a lot of the personal development. So Diamond was a big season for me. A big season of hustle for me, I should say. Melissa Pepping and I are cross-lined to each other, but we had become friends as golds. And we actually got very close as platinums. And we worked hard together in terms of support for several months as we both chased diamond. It was a lot of hard work. We were determined. We had an end game in mind. I thank God for her. I highly recommend teaming up with somebody cross-line to go after ranks together and share every step of that journey with. Because there's some things you don't want to share with your upline, and you definitely don't want to share complaints and whatnot with your downline or struggles. So having somebody cross-line to run the race with, one of my most favorite memories of journey to Royal was with her. I would not have hit diamond had it not been for her constant support, her encouragement and ideas, her cheerleading, picking me up when I was discouraged or down. And oh my gosh, the brainstorming we would do and the fun we would have doing it, those were some really amazing core hustle months that we hit diamond at the same time. We actually did it together within 2 days of each other. It was such a celebration, like from Minnesota to Texas. So it was amazing. I highly recommend doing something like that with someone cross-line. So almost a year went by, and I went on to achieve Crown and then Royal Crown in November of 2014. And again, incredible journey. Just, it honestly leaves me speechless a lot. It really does. I'm not even the same person at all as I was when I started building in the December of 2010. Night and day difference. I'm so blessed and so thankful to be on this Young Living journey with all of you guys and with my family. It's just such an amazing journey, you guys. I hope you never give up. I hope you never, ever, ever give up. It ended up being about a 4-year time frame from when I started building to Royal. And guys, it wasn't any one thing that I did or said that got me to Royal outside of committing to never quit and the teamwork that it took. I'm not like this mastermind genius that's just really good at network marketing and peopling, because I'm not. I'm not the peopling person. It truly was a team effort. I did not do this alone. No diamond has done this alone. And no matter what accomplishments you make, I don't care how fast you did it or how slow you do it, somebody helped you. Somebody helped you. And for me, a lot of that was my amazing upline, Danette Goodyear, who I will never be able to say thank you enough to. She was an amazing help. So while it was a 4-year journey for me, it could be longer for you. It could be shorter for you. I don't know. But all I know is if you stay committed, and even if it took you 10 years to achieve diamond, you're still in a better off place with that kind of annual pay raise and personal development it takes than any mainstream corporate job would ever be willing to give you in terms of a raise in salary every year. So just stay committed. I promise you guys, it is so worth it. Now, our why has changed over the years, as it naturally does for everybody. Even each rank, our why seemed to change a little bit. But it has landed at this, and that is to leave a legacy. And I think about this daily. Legacy is the word that God gave our family as really as our life mantra, as our calling. And Jay and I really strongly desire to leave a legacy. And not only with our kids, we want to make a huge difference in the world by leaving a legacy of goodness, of leadership, of excellence, of purpose. That's our why. And it's funny because people will quite often say, well, you're already RCD, can't you just go sit on the beach for the rest of your life? Well, it's kind of funny when people ask that. I mean, I guess we could, I guess we could do that, but we do a lot more traveling than we ever have before. I mean, we work the hours we want to, but overall, no, we can't do that. We're not stopping. We have no intentions of stopping. We are looking to build and leave a legacy, and that means that we're committed to continuing to build our character, to develop our attitude more, to help our leaders hit their goals, to bring as many of them to diamond with us as possible, and all the while building that foundation of helping get a whole lot more essential oils into homes around the world. And we want to impact other people's health and wealth. So as important as it is to know why you're doing this at the rank of star, it is equally important at the top of the comp plan at Royal Crown Diamond, equally important, y'all, to have a reason to stay engaged and continuing to support your team. I want to duplicate all the keys to success because this whole thing is not about me. Young Living is about wellness, purpose, and abundance for anyone who wants to take part in that. And so we're committed to continue to build and lead our organization. And our relationship with our why is about really how many people we can have a positive impact on their day-to-day lives. And realizing we're still on this journey. It's not about overnight success or get rich quick. It's work. It is a lot of work. And very few are willing to do it. Should you push yourself? Absolutely push yourself. Should you drive yourself to misery and burnout? And that would be a big fat no. Have I done that? Absolutely, I've done that. And I've learned a lot from it along the way. So respect your own time and happiness enough to choose the type of leadership role in Young Living that plays to your strengths, your gifts, and your passion. Because a miserable leader is not going to be a successful one. You know, you don't want to leave the important people in your life behind. You want to bring them with you and harmonize your life so that all aspects of it work together and flow well. And that takes trial and error. So when you're having the trial part of it, you don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You figure it out. And that's part of confidence is knowing you can figure it out along the way. We don't have to have all this confidence at the very beginning when we get started. We just need to know that we have the ability to figure it out along the way. Now, something I've learned is that if we lead, we need to lead in integrity and humility or we can't effectively serve our teams and have great relationships and make life friends with this. How many of you have made incredible life friends with this? We're here to serve a higher purpose. It's not ourselves. And I've seen this duplicated in several leaders in my organization. And someone local to you guys is one of the most hard-working, selfless people I know. And her name is Burchfield. You guys, this woman is not only served and trained her team in ways that have built and sustained one of the largest Young Living organizations, but she has so much heart and determination, and she's so good at just training her team to be business builders. She's really good at it. So I love that she's always there to serve and help people who want to help themselves. Just a salute you, Crystal. I think you're amazing. And thank you for enrolling Jordan Schrant. I mean, it's because of Crystal we have Jordan. So Jordan is who's hosting you guys there today at Diamond Bound. This is her event. And Jordan is a phenomenal leader. She has grown a superb organization. She is constantly pouring into her team. They are a thriving team, not only there in Missouri, but all over the world. So I'm really proud of these two local leaders, two guys, these ladies, and I just want y'all to know how lucky you are to have them both there today. Crystal and Jordan both really love to empower and serve Team Young Living, and that's a great quality of two great leaders, because Team Young Living is what Young Living has been about since the day I got in, and well before that, is just to serve the community. So I just want to take a moment and honor Crystal and Jordan for all they do for their local team there and around the world. All of your support, ladies, and hustle, they do not go unnoticed. So anyway, with my journey to Royal, it's hindsight now. If I could go back and tell my younger me some advice, say 6 years ago when I started building, there's 5 things I would tell myself. And the number one thing is, you don't have to know it all. Skills can be learned along the way, especially in network marketing. None of what we do is based on genetic or natural talent. Everything can be learned here. Your income level, your education, your status, even your personality. It's all moot when it comes to being a requirement for success. Because what takes you to the top actually goes well beyond your natural abilities. Your color test, your Myers-Briggs test, your animal test, all these tests and categories, they're really, truly, guys, they're really irrelevant to how successful you will be. And you guys might be watching these great speakers today, even at Diamond Bound at this event, and think, maybe your heart's palpitating, like, I could never get up there and do that. Oh my gosh, she's so good at that. Or wow, she's such a natural. You guys, it's a lie. I promise you, these wonderful speakers that you're hearing today probably sat in your same chair not that long ago and said the same thing. They weren't like this. Like, when they got started, everything can be developed. I was terrified to teach a class, I just developed things along the way. And in the 6 years, you don't have to do it overnight. They're good at what they do now because they learned it along the way. They embraced it and they developed those skills because it lined up with the goal that they had in mind. So number 2. The number 2 thing I would tell a younger version of my business building me is to never commit to anything that you lack passion in. Never commit to anything you lack passion in. Because when you do, you'll find yourself overcommitted. You'll find yourself overwhelmed by saying yes to too many things that aren't even associated with your dream. You're basically meeting the demands of other people. Number 3, I say to me when I first started this business, is to constantly evaluate my relationship with my why. What kind of relationship do you have with your why? Is it like an acquaintance? Like you can shake hands with it and think, oh, it'd be nice if, fill in the blank with your why. It'd be nice if that happened. Or are you dating it, kind of going in and out with it? Are you off and on with it? Or are you like truly committed to your why? Like you're fully committed, digging in deep. Because whatever your why is, if you aren't like fully married and committed to it, if the relationship isn't strong enough, you're not going to stay committed to it. And you might even quit. So make sure you're married to your why, that you're not just dating it, that it's not an acquaintance, but it really is, you're digging in deep to it. The number 4 thing I'd say to myself as a baby builder is to prioritize. Give yourself permission to say no sometimes, because we all need boundaries for things that are distracting. We need boundaries for things that are low priority activities, unhealthy relationships. We've got to prioritize those things and always be doing this. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll read a book on personal development, or I'll go revisit my goals, or a vision board, or just where I'm headed, and I'll emotionally connect to that thing again. And when you do that, you'll be less likely to get off of course when someone else's emergency comes up. And trust me, like all kinds of other people's emergencies will come up and they will pull at you and they'll throw them all into your inbox. And if you respond to everyone else's stuff before you get your own stuff done, again, you get overcommitted and stressed out and overwhelmed. And then like the worst thing ever happens. Then you'll associate all of that overcommitment and overwhelm with your dream, with your dream. And they don't even go together. They're totally separate. So you got to ask the demands in your inbox for everyone else's, deadlines. Like, do you own this? Do you got to recognize what you don't own. Do you really have the bandwidth for all of that? Because we hear the bandwidth excuse all the time, but most of the time it's not an excuse. It's for real. Like we can only go so far. So we got to prioritize in what we can actually do. And we can't keep making ourselves feel guilty that we can't do it all. Because here's a newsflash for you. You're not supposed to do it all, okay? You're just not. Number 5, the last thing I would tell a baby builder as myself would be to don't compare yourself to other people. How fast they're doing it. Oh my gosh. If I had $1 for every person I've met that said, hi, I'm so-and-so, I hit silver in 2 minutes, or whatever it is, they're just, it doesn't matter. All that does is they're setting you up for failure and they're bragging on themselves, and it just creates this terrible comparison dynamic. It doesn't matter how fast people do it. It doesn't matter their networks. Like, God has them on their path for a reason, and God has you on your path for a reason, and the people you know and they know. Like, they're separate. And the thing about comparison is that there's never, ever a win with comparison. It'll leave us coming up short every time. And that's because it takes your weaknesses and it compares it to other people's strengths. And again, nobody wins. That's impossible to win. So just know that no one in the entire world can do a better job of being you than you. And your best life needs to measure up to your dreams and not others, okay? You guys, this journey is long. It is a long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It's hard at times. It's tough. And you know what? It can be slow and it can be emotional at times. I mean, gosh, this journey can be painful at times. In fact, it's left me feeling stuck. It's left me feeling discouraged many times. And those days, you don't feel like working, or maybe weeks will go by or months that you feel this way. But one thing I know is that you can't expect to succeed if you only put in work on the days you feel like it. Because when we do that, your doubt in those times actually will increase with your inaction. So think about and write down the reason you were first excited about this business in those times. You know, if you're feeling a little flatline, like write something down that's awesome this business has done for you and your family. It might be relationships. It might be financially. It might be your health. I mean, you probably had so many wins that you don't even realize it. Like, you just focus on how discouraged you feel. So go back and write down some of those small wins and some of the big wins, and take some time to close your eyes and really feel them again. And take a moment to appreciate what you've done. You've probably done something amazing. And give yourself some credit, you know. Get emotionally connected to why you're doing this again. This is one of the most beautiful journeys, and it is full of a lot of mountains and a lot of valleys. So don't think you're going to be on top of the mountain the whole time, guys. It's not. If this was easy, everybody would do it. It's a lot of valleys. You just have to push through and emotionally connect to why you're doing this. And you'll see it through. You'll get through. You will be, you know, in that percent that hits diamond and above. I fully believe that. I want to close with this for you guys today. I've been with Young Living since 2009, and there has never been a bigger and a better vision for our company. So commit to be at events. You know, put what you learn there into action. Don't just take notes and do nothing. Put it into action. And know in your heart that one person can make a decision and it can impact 1 million people around the world. One person, and that one person is you. You guys go watch, write this down. Go watch that YouTube video called The Butterfly Effect by Andy Andrews. That's what that impact on 1 million people around the world is. It's a phenomenal video. Every single thing that you do matters. So don't ever give up. We have such a phenomenal, amazing gift in what we do. And you have the power to change the world. You know, the world. So seriously, I want everyone to write down Andy Andrews and look up The Butterfly Effect on YouTube. I want you guys to believe, truly deep down, believe that you deserve success. Like, write that out in Sharpie, marks a lot, whatever, and put it on a mirror. I deserve success. And it's because of your courage, a lot of lives get to be changed. Again, step out in that 20 seconds of courage when you're afraid to. What if that one person is like you and just needed to hear it, you know, to get their life changed? It's that butterfly effect. What if they go and tell someone that changes their life? Like, we have such a gift. So I just want you guys to stay committed to yourself, you know, honor yourself with your work. Your earning power is directly related to your commitment. So I hope you guys go and take your talents, you take your passion, your good character, and then you go make a difference in people's lives and create incredible wealth with it. That is what is going to change the world. The money in the hands of good people can do a lot of good in the world, right? Can I get another amen on a Saturday for that one? Thank you so much for having me today, Jordan, and all of you that came to Diamond Bound. It was such a blessing to get to speak to y'all. Here's to your success, you guys. I hope you go and do something special. Thank you so much. Bye.